first sign something was wrong wasn't the missing necklace. It was the look in Cyrus's eyes when I caught him studying my medication schedule on the kitchen counter. Just a fleeting moment, but it made my fresh surgical scar throb with warning. I'm Mackenzie, and 3 weeks ago, I made what I now realize was the worst decision of my adult life. I let my younger sister Tessa and her boyfriend move into my guest house after they lost their apartment. Just until you get back on your feet, I'd said, both to them and myself. I was recovering from abdominal surgery and thought having family around might actually help. Mac, you're literally a lifesaver, Tessa had gushed, hugging me carefully around my bandages. We'll help with everything, I promise. That promise lasted exactly 4 days. Hey, Tess, I called out from my bedroom, wincing as I tried to reach the water glass on my nightstand. Could you grab me some water? In a minute, she yelled back. I could hear laughter from the guest house, music thumping through the walls. That minute turned into an hour. I ended up shuffling to the kitchen myself, gritting my teeth against the pain. The first week, things disappeared. Small things. A vintage bracelet from my jewelry box, my favourite coffee mug, a signed first edition book I'd splurged on last year. When I mentioned the missing items, Tessa's eyes would go wide with concern. Are you sure you didn't misplace them? The pain meds can make you forgetful, she'd say, her voice dripping with syrupy sympathy. Cyrus would nod along, always standing slightly behind her, always watching. I know exactly where I keep my things, I replied. But doubt crept in anyway. Maybe the medication was affecting me more than I thought. Then came the necklace incident. It wasn't particularly valuable, just a simple silver chain with my birthstone that Mum had given me for my 30th birthday. But its disappearance felt different. Personal. Have either of you seen my birthstone necklace? I asked over dinner. One of the rare times they actually joined me in the main house. The one Mom gave me? Tessa barely looked up from her phone. Nope. Maybe you should make a list of where you put things. You seem to be losing a lot lately. Cyrus cleared his throat. Yeah, Mac, stress can do weird things to memory, especially when you're, alone so much. The way he said it made my skin crawl. I pushed my plate away, appetite gone. I'm not stressed and I'm not confused. That necklace was on my dresser yesterday. Well, we haven't been in your room, Tessa snapped, finally looking up. Maybe you should worry less about jewellery and more about healing. You're getting paranoid. I watched them leave after dinner, whispering to each other and giggling. Through my kitchen window, I could see them in the guest house. Shadows moving behind curtains I'd bought and hung myself. The property I'd worked so hard to buy, the space I'd created for peace and recovery, felt tainted now. That night I couldn't sleep. The pain was bad, but the gnawing feeling in my gut wasn't from the surgery. I reached for my phone and texted my best friend Stella. Me. Something's not right. I can feel it. Stella. The surgery stuff. Should I call your doctor? Me. No. Tessa and Cyrus. Things are missing. They're acting weird. Stella. Weird how? Me. Like they're playing a part. Badly. Stella. Want me to come over tomorrow? I'll bring coffee and my eyes aren't clouded by family loyalty. Me. Please. And Stella? Stella. Yeah? Me. Bring your old baby monitor. The one you used when you were nannying. I put my phone down and stared at the ceiling. Tomorrow I'd start gathering proof. Because family or not, something was very wrong in my house, and I wasn't going to let surgery or guilt or sisterly obligation stop me from finding out what. The last thing I saw before falling asleep was a shadow passing by my window, someone walking from the guest house to my garden. At 2 a.m. I closed my eyes and remembered how Mum always said I was too suspicious, too careful, too unwilling to trust. But Mum wasn't here now, and trust I was learning was a luxury I couldn't afford while recovering from one wound and watching another form, this one straight through my heart. Stella arrived the next morning with coffee, and the baby monitor as promised. You look like hell, she said, handing me a latte. Thanks. Love you too. I managed a weak smile as she helped me settle onto the couch. The monitor was small, unassuming, just a basic audio device that parents use to hear their babies cry. Where should we put it? Stella asked, examining the walls between my house and the guest house. There. I pointed to a vent near the floor. The sound carries through there. I can hear their TV sometimes. We hadn't finished setting it up when Tessa burst through the front door. Mac! Oh, hi, Stella. Her smile faltered for a second. Mac, can I borrow your car? Cyrus has an interview. I shifted uncomfortably. What happened to his car? It's in the shop, please. This could be huge for us. I handed over my keys, ignoring Stella's sharp look. What was I supposed to do? Say no and be the bitter sister who wouldn't help? After they left, Stella turned to me. You know they're taking advantage, right? I know, but I need proof before I do anything. Mum would never forgive me if I kicked them out without cause. The baby monitor crackled to life around sunset. I was dozing on the couch when I heard them return, their voices clear through the small speaker. That was a waste of time. Cyrus's voice came through, bitter and sharp. Like I'd want to work at some corporate hellhole anyway. At least we got to use her car, Tessa laughed. God, she's so easy to manipulate. Just mention an interview and boom, instant wheels. My hand tightened around my phone. I started recording. You see how pathetic she looked today? Cyrus continued. All laid up on the couch with her friend. No boyfriend, no life. Just work and her precious house. Right? Tessa's voice dripped with contempt. She thinks she's so much better than everyone because she owns property. But look at her now. Can't even get up without help. You know, Cyrus's voice got lower, more calculated. I've been reading about tenant rights. After 30 days, they can't just kick us out. We'd have squatters' rights. Really? Tessa sounded excited. So even if she wanted us gone, she'd have to go through formal eviction. Could take months. And meanwhile, we live here free. You're brilliant, babe. She thinks she's helping her poor little sister, but really, we're helping ourselves to everything she has. I stopped recording, my hands shaking. Stella, who had come over to check on me, sat beside me in silence. Mac, she started. I need cameras, I cut her off. Not just audio. I need to see everything. I know a guy who installs security systems, Stella said, already pulling out her phone. We can have them up tomorrow. That night, I lay in bed listening to more through the monitor. They talked about selling some of my collectible junk at a pawn shop. They mocked my surgery, suggesting I was exaggerating the pain for attention. They planned which rooms they'd take over once they established residency. My own sister, my flesh and blood. The next morning, while they were out with my car again, Stella's contact arrived. We installed cameras in every common area, focusing especially on entries and exits. Small, discreet, but recording everything. You sure about this? Stella asked as we tested the feed on my phone. Once you start watching, you can't unwatch? I'm sure, I said, just as my phone pinged with a motion alert. On screen, I watched Cyrus enter my office. He went straight to my desk, rifling through drawers until he found my grandmother's antique letter opener. Son of a bitch, Stella whispered. We watched him pocket it and leave. 20 minutes later, my phone tracked him to a pawn shop 3 miles away. That night, I added up everything I knew was missing. Over $5,000 in jewelry, books, and antiques. But it wasn't about the money. It was about the betrayal, the mockery, the calculated cruelty. I opened my phone and texted Caleb, my ex. He was a lawyer now, and while we weren't close, we were friendly enough. Me. Need legal advice. Family situation. Can we meet? Caleb. Everything okay? Me. No. But it will be. I switched back to the security feed. Tessa and Cyrus were in the guest house kitchen, probably planning their next move. But they didn't know what I knew. They didn't know I could see them, hear them, document everything. They thought I was weak, vulnerable, an easy target. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Caleb met me at a quiet coffee shop across town. I'd chosen it specifically because Tessa and Cyrus would never come here. No alcohol and prices that would make them scoff. You look... Caleb paused, studying my face. Like hell? Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot lately. I pulled out my phone and played him selected clips from the past week. His expression darkened as he listened to Tessa and Cyrus plotting, watched them pawning my belongings, heard them mocking my recovery. Jesus, Mac, he said finally. Your own sister. I need to know my options. Legally. He leaned back, lawyer mode engaging. Well, they're right about one thing. After 30 days, it gets complicated. How long have they been there? 26 days. Smart girl. He smiled slightly. Always were good with details. Okay, here's what you need to do. For the next hour, we mapped out a strategy. Document everything. Keep all text messages. Save security footage. Create a paper trail of their presence being temporary. And Mac, Caleb added as we were leaving, be careful. People get crazy when they're cornered. Back home, I found Stella waiting with takeout. How'd it go with Lawyer Boy? He's helping. But first, I showed her my phone. The latest security footage showed Cyrus in my home office again, this time going through my medical files. Look at this smug bastard. Cyrus's voice came through clearly as he flipped through papers. All these prescriptions. She's probably addicted. No wonder she's so obsessed with control. She's got nothing else going for her. Stella's face flushed with anger. That's private medical information. He can't just... Oh, it gets better. I switched to another clip from an hour later. Tessa was on the phone, pacing my garden. Mum, I'm really worried about her. Tessa's voice dripped with fake concern. All these pain meds, living alone. I think she's getting paranoid. She keeps accusing us of taking things. Maybe we should talk about getting her some help. She's poisoning Mom against you, Stella whispered. This isn't just about squatting anymore. No, I agreed. It's character assassination. They're setting me up to look unstable. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Honey, are you okay? Tessa's worried about you. Maybe you should see someone. Don't respond, Stella advised. Let them think their plan is working. That night, I organised everything into folders. Security footage, audio recordings, missing items, with photos and values, text messages. I added screenshots of my banking app showing them using my car, buying gas with my credit card. Emergencies only, that had somehow become daily occurrences. Around midnight, the baby monitor crackled. 4 more days, Cyrus was saying. Then we're legally established. She can't touch us. What if she tries? Tessa asked. Then we tell everyone how the surgery messed with her head, how the pills made her paranoid. Your mum already believes it. I switched off the monitor and texted Stella. Me. I want to destroy them. Stella. Legally, right? Me. Of course, but publicly. Stella. This isn't just about getting them out anymore, is it? Me. No. They're trying to rewrite who I am. Make me look crazy. Weak. Stella. And you want revenge. Me. I want justice. Stella. Those aren't always the same thing. Me. They are this time? My phone buzzed again. Mum, inviting me to her birthday dinner next week at her favourite restaurant. The whole family would be there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, even Dad, making a rare appearance. Perfect. I opened my laptop and started working. If they wanted to tell stories about me, I'd show everyone the real story. Every clip, every theft, every lie, carefully edited into one devastating presentation. Let them think they had 4 days. Let them think they were winning. Let them think I was exactly what they said, weak, lonely, unstable. They'd learn the truth soon enough, and so would everyone else. I touched my surgery scar, still tender but healing. Unlike the wound my sister had inflicted, that one went deeper, and it wasn't healing. It was hardening into something else entirely. My phone lit up with another text from Stella. Just remember, you can't take it back once it's done. I looked at the security feed one last time. Tessa and Cyrus were laughing in my guest house, probably congratulating themselves on their clever plan. Me. I don't want to take it back. I want to take everything. I decided to test the waters with Mum before her birthday dinner. When I pulled up to her house, Tessa's car was already there. Of course it was. Mackenzie. Mum pulled me into a gentle hug. How are you feeling, sweetie? You look tired. I'm fine, Mum. Surgery recovery takes time. Inside, Tessa was curled up on Mum's couch like she used to do when we were kids. She barely glanced up from her phone. Hey, Mac, isn't it wonderful how Tessa's been helping you? Mum bustled around making tea. I was so worried about you being alone during recovery, but having your sister there must be such a comfort. I gripped my mug tightly. Yeah, it's been enlightening. Though Tessa mentioned you've been a bit confused lately. Mum's voice dropped to that concerned whisper I'd grown to hate. About missing items? I'm not confused, Mum. I know exactly. It's probably just the medication, Tessa cut in smoothly. We've been keeping an eye on her, making sure she doesn't overdo it. We? I asked sharply. You mean you and Cyrus, the boyfriend who's been job hunting for 6 months? Mackenzie, Mum scolded. Cyrus is trying his best. The economy is difficult right now. Not too difficult for him to buy drinks every night with my credit card. Tessa sat up, eyes wide with practiced innocence. You said we could use it for emergencies. Since when is happy hour an emergency? Girls, please. Mum set down her tea with a sharp clink. Mackenzie, I know you're in pain, but you're being unfair. If Tessa wasn't there, I don't know who would have helped you. Helped me? I laughed, and it sounded hollow even to my ears. Is that what you think is happening? Well, isn't it? Mum's face creased with confusion. Tessa's been telling me how she does your shopping, drives you to appointments. When was the last time you actually saw her do any of that? Mum faltered. She tells you she's helping, but have you asked me? Tessa stood up, tears already forming. I can't believe you're acting like this, after everything we've done for you. Everything you've done? I pulled out my phone, fingers hovering over the video files. One click and I could show them right now. But no, not yet. Not here. You know what? Never mind. I just came to confirm I'm coming to your birthday dinner, Mom. Of course you are, Mom said, relief evident in her voice. The whole family will be there, even your father. Dad's coming. Tessa's head snapped up. He is. Mum beamed. First time in years we'll all be together. Please, girls, can we just have one nice evening? I stood up, careful not to wince at the movement. It'll be memorable, I promise. Outside, Tessa caught up to me at my car. Mac, wait. What? I know you're mad about the credit card. We'll pay you back. This isn't about money. Then what's it about? Because you're acting crazy. I turned to face her fully. You really want to use that word with me? Something flickered in her eyes. Fear, maybe. Good? She stepped back. Just remember we're family. Oh, I remember. Do you? I drove home in silence, my mind racing. Back at the house, I checked the security feed. Cyrus was going through my mail, pocketing what looked like a credit card offer. My phone buzzed with a text from Dad. Looking forward to seeing you at your mother's dinner. Been too long? Another buzz. Stella. How'd it go with your mum? Me. They've got her completely fooled. Tessa's playing the devoted sister act. Stella. And the birthday dinner? Me. Everyone will be there. Perfect audience. Stella. Mac. Are you sure about this? Me. They're not just taking my house. They're rewriting my whole story. Stella. And you're going to what? Write the ending? Me. No, I'm going to tell the truth. Stella. Truth is a weapon too. Me. Good. Because I'm done being defenseless. I switched back to the security feed. Tessa had just gotten home, and I turned up the volume. She knows something, Tessa was telling Cyrus. She's acting weird. Doesn't matter, he replied. 3 more days and we're legally set. What's she going to do? Make a scene at her precious mommy's birthday? I smiled at the screen. Yeah, I whispered. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I opened my laptop and started finalizing the presentation. Every clip, every lie, every moment of mockery, all of it building to one devastating revelation. They thought they were writing my story. They thought they could paint me as the villain. But in 3 days, everyone would see the truth, and the only story being told would be mine. 2 days before Mom's birthday dinner, I caught the conversation that broke me completely. I wasn't even using the security cameras or baby monitor. Tessa was just being loud on her phone in the garden, assuming I was napping. I'm telling you, Lisa, it's perfect. Tessa's voice floated through my open window. We're never going to have to pay for anything again. Mac's so desperate to be the good sister, she'll let us stay forever. I started recording on my phone, moving closer to the window. No, you don't get it. She's actually pathetic. Like, no boyfriend, no life, just work and this big, empty house. We're doing her a favour, giving her someone to take care of. Tessa laughed. Plus, Cyrus figured out all this legal stuff. After tomorrow, she can't kick us out without going through courts. Could take months. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. The best part? Mum totally believes I'm here taking care of her after surgery. Meanwhile, we're selling her stuff bit by bit. That antique collection she's so proud of? Half of it's gone and she hasn't even noticed. I had noticed. Every single piece. Anyway, gotta go. We're all having this big family dinner tomorrow for Mum's birthday. Should be fun watching Mac pretend everything's fine. She's such a control freak. It's killing her not to say anything. I stopped recording and sank to the floor. This wasn't Cyrus manipulating my sister. This was Tessa, my own sister, bragging about destroying my life. My phone buzzed with a text from Caleb. Got the eviction papers ready. Want me to file them? Me. Not yet. Wait until after tomorrow night. Caleb. You sure about this public showdown? Me. You haven't heard the latest recording. Caleb. That bad? Me. Worse. I sent him the audio file. 3 minutes later. Caleb. Holy shit, Mac, your own sister? Me. Not anymore. I spent the next hour finalizing my presentation, security footage of them stealing, audio clips of their mockery, screenshots of credit card statements showing their spending, photos of my empty display cases, and now, this final recording, proof that it wasn't just Cyrus's influence, proof that my sister was just as cruel, just as calculating. Stella came over that evening with wine and takeout. Last chance to back out, she said, watching me test the presentation on my laptop. Would you, if it were your sister? She's not just going to lose face, Mac. She's going to lose everything. Her reputation, her relationship with your mum, maybe even her relationship with Cyrus once he realizes she's not their meal ticket anymore. Good. I took a long sip of wine. She should have thought about that before she decided to steal my life piece by piece. What about your mum? This will devastate her. Mum chose to believe Tessa's lies. She didn't even ask me if I was okay. Just assumed I was confused, unstable, paranoid. My phone pinged with a security alert. On screen, Cyrus was in my office again, this time trying to access my computer. Looking for banking information, I said flatly. He does this every night now. You changed all your passwords, right? And added 2-factor authentication. Plus, Caleb helped me freeze my credit. Another alert. Tessa joining Cyrus in the office. They were laughing, pointing at something on my desk. Probably the family photos I kept there. I used to think she was just lost, I said quietly. That she needed time to find herself. But watching them laugh at me in my own house. She's not lost. She's exactly where she wants to be, taking everything I have. Stella touched my arm. Tomorrow's going to change everything. It already has. I closed my laptop. I just need everyone else to see it too. Later that night, I printed the eviction notice Caleb had prepared. 30 days might be the legal requirement, but I was giving them 7. Let them try to fight it after everyone saw who they really were. My phone lit up with a final text from Mum. So happy we'll all be together tomorrow. Please be nice to your sister. She's been worried about you. I set my phone down without responding and walked to the window. In the guest house, Tessa and Cyrus were silhouetted against the lights, probably planning their next move, thinking they had all the time in the world. Enjoy your last night, I whispered. Tomorrow, everyone sees the truth. The morning before Mum's dinner, I met Dad at a coffee shop downtown. We hadn't spoken properly in years, but somehow he was exactly who I needed to see. You look like hell, kiddo, he said, sliding into the booth. That seems to be the general consensus lately. He studied me over his coffee cup. Your mother called. She's worried about you. Says Tessa told her you're not handling the surgery well. And what do you think? I think you didn't ask me here to discuss your recovery. I pulled out my phone and played him a few clips. Unlike Mum, Dad's face remained impassive, but his knuckles whitened around his cup. That's quite a collection you've got there, he said when I finished. I'm showing everything at Mum's dinner tonight. Nuclear option, huh? He leaned back, Going to be messy. You think I shouldn't? Didn't say that. He sighed, running a hand through his greying hair. You know why I left? Mom said, your mother said a lot of things. Truth is, I left because I couldn't stand watching Tessa turn into what she is now. Your mother enabling it, making excuses, and you, always trying to fix everything. I'm not fixing anything this time. No, he smiled slightly. You're breaking it wide open. Good. Mum will never forgive me. Maybe not. But forgiveness isn't always the point. He reached across the table, squeezing my hand. Sometimes truth cuts deeper than kindness, and sometimes it needs to. My phone buzzed. A text from Stella. They're up to something. Just saw Tessa leaving a lawyer's office. Excuse me, I said, stepping outside to call her. I followed them, Stella said without preamble. They're trying to file some kind of emergency tenancy claim, saying you verbally agreed to a long-term arrangement. Let them try. I've got weeks of footage proving otherwise. Mac. Stella hesitated. Cyrus was talking about getting a restraining order, saying you're unstable, harassing them. I laughed, and it sounded hollow even to me. Perfect timing. Let them file whatever they want. In 6 hours, everyone will know exactly who's been harassing who. Back inside, Dad was watching me carefully. Problems? Just Tessa and Cyrus trying to get ahead of what's coming. They're filing legal papers, claiming I'm unstable. And that doesn't make you want to stop? It makes me want to destroy them more. He nodded slowly. You know, you remind me of your mother when she was young. Before she started choosing peace over truth, she had that same look you've got now. What look is that? Like you're done being nice. My phone buzzed again. Mum this time. Dinner at 7. Please dress nicely, and please be civil to your sister. They all think I'm the problem, I said, showing Dad the message. That I'm bitter, lonely, paranoid. Even Mum believes it. Then show them who you really are. He stood up, dropping money on the table. Anne Mackenzie? Make it count. You only get one shot at this kind of revelation. Back home, I found Tessa and Cyrus loading my car with boxes. What are you doing? Just moving some stuff to storage, Cyrus said smoothly, clearing space in the guest house. I watched them drive away with what was probably more of my belongings. Let them think they were being clever. In a few hours, none of it would matter. My phone lit up with messages. Stella. Want me to come early? Moral support? Me. No, I need to do this alone. Caleb. Eviction papers ready. Sure you want to wait? Me. Trust me. Timing is everything. Dad. Remember, truth over kindness. Me. Always. I opened my laptop one last time, reviewing the presentation. Every theft, every lie, every mocking conversation, all building to that final recording of Tessa bragging about taking everything from me. The security feed showed Tessa and Cyrus returning, laughing as they entered the guest house empty-handed. My possessions were probably in some storage unit I'd never find. But that didn't matter anymore. I touched my surgery scar, almost healed now. The physical pain was fading, but the rage, that was still white-hot and perfect. My phone buzzed one final time. Mum, don't forget, 7 p.m. sharp. Everyone's so excited to be together. Oh, Mum, I whispered, closing my laptop. You have no idea how excited I am. Mum's favourite bistro was packed with family when I arrived. Aunts, uncles, cousins, all chattering and laughing. Tessa and Cyrus were already there, holding court near Mum, who beamed at their every word. Mackenzie, Mum waved me over. You look better. Amazing what a little clarity can do. I set my laptop bag down carefully. Dad caught my eye from across the room and nodded slightly. Tessa was watching our exchange, her smile faltering. What's with the laptop? She asked, trying to sound casual. Oh, just a little birthday presentation for Mum. Cyrus's hand tightened around his wine glass. How thoughtful. Dinner proceeded with excruciating slowness. Relatives updated each other on jobs, kids, vacations. Mum kept touching Tessa's arm, praising her for taking such good care of your sister. Finally, as the waiters cleared the dinner plates, Mum stood up. Before dessert, I want to thank everyone for coming. Having both my girls here, taking care of each other. Actually, Mum, I cut in, standing up. Before we continue, I have something to share. I pulled out my laptop and the small projector I'd borrowed from work. A little presentation about family, truth, and consequences. Mac, Tessa's warning tone carried across the table. Something wrong, sis? You look nervous. The first clip played. Cyrus in my office, pocketing jewellery. Then Tessa, laughing about selling my antiques, their voices mocking my surgery recovery, planning their squatters' rights strategy, bragging about manipulating me. The room fell silent except for the audio playing. Mum's face went pale. Dad sat back, watching everyone's reactions. Aunts covered their mouths in shock. Cousins shifted uncomfortably. Turn it off! Tessa stood up, shaking. This is ridiculous. She's obviously edited. The timestamps are intact, I cut her off. Every clip is dated. Would you like to see the pawn shop receipts too? The credit card statements? Mackenzie, Mum's voice quivered. What are you doing? Showing you who your precious Tessa really is. Watch this part. It's my favourite. The final clip played. Tessa's garden phone call, bragging about their long con, mocking me, detailing their plans to take everything. You bitch! Cyrus stood up, face red. You've been spying on us? In my own house? You bet I have. I pulled out the eviction notice. Speaking of which, you have 7 days to get out. You can't, Tessa started. I can, and I am. Every theft, every lie, every attempt to paint me as unstable, I have it all documented. Try to fight this, and I'll take it straight to the police. Mum, Tessa turned to our mother. Are you going to let her do this? Mum sat there, tears streaming down her face. How could you? Both of you? Both of us? Tessa laughed hysterically. She's the one who what? I interrupted. Gave you a place to live? Trusted you? Believed you were actually my sister and not just a parasite? Mackenzie, Mum gasped. No, Mum. No more defending her? No more excuses? You wanted to know why I've been acting strange? Watch the videos again. Watch your perfect daughter steal from me, mock me, plan to take my house. Dad stood up slowly. I think we should all call it a night. But the cake, Mum whispered. I don't think anyone's in a celebrating mood anymore, Deborah. Tessa grabbed her purse, mascara running. You've ruined everything. No, I said calmly. I just exposed what was already ruined. 7 days, Tessa. Then I call the police. Cyrus practically dragged her out, but not before she screamed, You'll regret this. The room erupted in whispered conversations. Aunts huddled around Mom, who sat shell-shocked in her chair. Cousins awkwardly gathered their things, making quick exits. Dad touched my shoulder. You okay? Never better. My phone buzzed. Stella. Well? Me. It's done. Stella. How bad? Me. Nuclear. Stella. Coming over with wine? Me. Make it whiskey. I packed up my laptop as relatives filed out, some avoiding my eyes, others squeezing my arm in silent support. Mackenzie, Mum called weakly. Please, tell me those videos weren't real. Happy birthday, Mum. Sorry about the cake. Outside, the night air felt clean, fresh. My phone was flooding with family group chat notifications, but I ignored them all. Let them process. Let them talk. Let them finally see the truth I'd been living with. 7 days. 7 days until my house was mine again. 7 days until this chapter closed. But the story was already written. And everyone finally knew who the real villain was. Tessa and Cyrus didn't wait 7 days. They were gone the next morning, leaving the guest house a disaster of broken furniture and spray-painted walls. Psycho bitch decorated my living room window in neon pink. Classy, Stella said, helping me document the damage. At least they're gone. Not without a final theft. I gestured around my emptied house. They took everything they could carry. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since the dinner. Family members choosing sides, Mum's tearful voicemails, Tessa's increasingly unhinged texts. I blocked them all except Dad. Dad. They're staying with your mother. Me. Of course they are. Dad. She'll figure it out eventually. Truth has a way of surfacing. Me. Too late for that. The doorbell rang, Caleb holding a stack of papers. Police reports filed, he said, stepping inside. I listed everything we know they took. Between the security footage and pawn shop records, they're looking at grand theft charges. You really pressing charges? Stella asked. They made their choice. Now they face consequences. My phone rang, an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Mac? It was Cyrus, his voice tight. Look, we can work something out, like you worked out your squatters' rights plan. That was Tessa's idea, she said. Save it for the police report. I hung up. Stella poured wine while Caleb explained the legal process. Halfway through, another text from Dad. Dad, your mother found your grandmother's jewellery in Tessa's bag, the pieces you reported missing. Me. And? Dad. She's asking them to leave, finally seeing the light. Me. Too little, too late. The doorbell rang again. Mum stood there, holding a familiar velvet box. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She gasped at the spray paint, the damage. I found these. She set the jewellery box down. Tessa said you gave them to her, but I remembered you telling me they were stolen. Did you believe her? I wanted to. Her voice cracked. I always wanted to believe her. It was easier than admitting that your perfect daughter is a thief and a liar, that I failed both my daughters, her by enabling, you by doubting. Stella and Caleb quietly excused themselves. Mum touched the spray-painted wall. I kicked them out, she said. Told them not to come back until they've made this right. They can't make this right. No, she agreed. But I can start trying. She pulled out an envelope. It's not much, but it's my savings, to help repair the damage. Keep it. This isn't about money. Then what is it about? Trust. Truth. The fact that my own mother believed I was crazy before considering her precious Tessa might be lying. Mum's phone buzzed, Tessa's name flashing. She declined the call. I'm selling the house, I said suddenly, moving somewhere neither of you know the address. Mackenzie, I need a fresh start, somewhere without spray-painted walls or empty display cases or memories of my sister laughing while she destroyed my life. I understand. Mum set down her phone as it buzzed again. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you, for standing up, for showing the truth. I should have done that years ago. After she left, I sat in my vandalized living room, surrounded by the aftermath of familial destruction. My phone lit up with a text from Stella. Stella, you okay? Me. Getting there. Stella, want company? Me. Actually, I'm good. Really good. And I was. The house was a mess, relationships were shattered, and trust was broken beyond repair. But for the first time in weeks, I could breathe. No more listening for theft, watching for lies, waiting for betrayal. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from an unknown number. Tessa, you've ruined my life. Happy now? I looked around at my spray-painted walls, my emptied shelves, the space where my grandmother's antiques used to be, at the security cameras that had captured it all, still blinking silently. No, I typed back. Not happy. Just finally free. I blocked the number and opened my laptop. Real estate listings filled the screen. New houses, new neighbourhoods, new starts. Behind me, the security cameras kept recording, capturing the end of one story and the beginning of another. Some people say revenge doesn't bring peace. They're wrong. Sometimes peace only comes after you've burned every bridge that people used to hurt you. Sometimes healing starts with destruction. And sometimes the only way to find your strength is to lose everything else first. I clicked on a promising listing and smiled. Time to write a new story. One without family betrayal, stolen treasures, or spray-painted walls. One where I was finally, completely free.